What's up, Weirdo? Shade Tree Surgeon here, and today's video is going to be all about FXRs. FXRs that don't belong to me, well, that won't belong to me after today because somebody's winning them, and FXRs that do belong to me because we're riding the wet spot to go check on a different FXR. An FXR in a stage of metamorphosis. An FXR to silence all the naysayers, doubters, and haters who said it would never come back. The true believers, the loyal, shall be rewarded, and the doubters shall be cast down into a fiery pit to be eaten alive by the ancient dimensional being known as Dally Grousengeimer. Some people might find that to be a reward too, but hey, whatever floats your boat, baby. Every shovelhead takes a little bit of the dark arts, its own little ritual to get it started, and this one's no different. 3 pumps usually does it though. There we go. Just that little bit of choke and this thing's running like a top, man. My last ride on the wet spot, Jungle Love, the 1982 shovel that after today is not gonna belong to me. Well, probably doesn't belong to me by the time you're seeing this, unless you're watching right now in the premiere, in which case, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you guys. We're doing a live stream right after this video, and we're gonna pull the winners for this bike and the 1992 Evo, old 92. Now, I will tell you, whoever ends up pulling the ticket and picking the wet spot, I am definitely going to make them a cash offer, because I really like this motorcycle. But you know, I wouldn't blame it if you just wanted to keep it, because obviously I want to keep it too. This motorcycle rocks. And it's not like it's better than old 92. It's literally worse than the red FXR in every single way. It's just got so much steez, man. These chrome buckhorns, all this old 80s Harley chrome over it. And of course, you know, the acid flames, this ridiculous paint job. It's got a lot of character, but let's go ahead and admit that old 92 is a superior motorcycle, and literally this blows this one out of the water. This shovelhead is slow. It will break down, even though it's in perfect running order right now. It's a shovelhead. You're gonna have to maintain it. You're gonna have to take the heads off of it. You're gonna have to rebuild it. It just is what it is, baby. The shovelhead comes from a different time and place in motorcycles, and those motorcycles need love, care, and maintenance. So like I said, I'm gonna make an offer to whoever wins it, because I think this motorcycle is awesome and I'd love to continue to be its custodian. And also, you know, if somebody wins it and they're like, man, I just don't know how to take care of this bike and I don't want to. I just don't want to see it sit somewhere and go to crap. It's too much of a time and place in history. It's a first year FXR, the first year shovelheads to be produced when it was owned by Harley Davidson and not the bowling ball company AMF. Like, it's just an amazing bike, and whoever gets it, you got to make sure, like, just take care of it, okay? It deserves that. When you look at this acid flame paint job and imagine the dude who did this to it and took care of it all these years got here, even though there's some dumb stuff done to it, motorcycle has managed to survive 40 plus years and be this surviving paint job from the 80s with all this old 80s chrome all over it. Like, it deserves to be taken care of, and it deserves to be kept looking like this. And back to all the non-believers. If you've been following Shelby on Instagram, you're a believer. And if you haven't been following Shelby Daytona on Instagram, 1-800-ASK-SHELBY, shame on you, because you haven't seen what everybody else already knows. Let's do a little flashback to a couple days ago. For all ye of little faith, trust me, Shelby, my faith in you never wandered one bit. Of course, you know, I got a little more personal experience with my faith in Shelby than everyone else. He's gotten me out of a lot of pickles.
I'm about to machine this section of the caliper bracket, machine that off, drill a hole down here, and put a bracket on it to keep it from rotating backwards in case you have to roll down a hill and hit the brake. But this was angled the wrong way, so it was only touching on one little spot back here. So
this was given to me by my very good friend Tim from Gigastat, who's a great dude, but when he gave it to me, I still had a stock swing arm. So thankful, because I love Tim and I want to use his products. So thank you, Shelby, for making Tim's products work on his bike. Very cool.
Modified, but you know, it works.
Hey, so it works, dude. Still got the Tokiko.
What's this Tokiko off of anyway?
GSXR, I'm sure. Something like that. There's that Baker in there. That's the big dollar thing right there, dude. Transmission, this is not even the case, but this right here, which pulls out, well, there's a little more to it than just pulling it out, is worth more than the entire motorcycle.
Truth.
Now, luckily, I didn't pay that for it. I got a deal on it, but yeah, it's worth more than the whole motorcycle. And of course, everyone asks, why does this take forever? This was in a soft tail transmission case, so it had to come out of that. New seals and everything had to be gone through. It had to be put in a case where it would fit in an FXR. Like, the amount of work that Shelby's doing to make this thing work it's wild. It's a ton of work. And then I'm just gonna put the old tins on it and let it look like shit. Well, all of Shelby, Joe's, and
everything I'm doing to look pretty.
Yeah, everything you're doing is gonna look freaking awesome. You know what? Whenever someone looks at anything besides the paint job and the tins and the dents and the rust, they'll just go, you know what? Whoever did that other part was pretty cool. And I'll go like, well, 1-800-ASK Shelby.
Not bought.
And back to right now, Shelby says, hey buddy, you better come by the ride factory today. Didn't tell me what was up, just said, hey, come on by and check out what we got going on.
Shelby, I need you to move fair.
Big chunga, so Lordy coming.
Tight, yeah.
Yeah, so Joe and Shelby, who both, Joe recently with a broken collarbone, Shelby with a broken arm and broken collarbone, just lift that big old chunk in there. It's good to have friends in low places, all right? Dude, you want to talk about tight, man. You want to talk about tight, dude. So yeah, they're gonna make the open primary work, which I will be honest with you, I am pretty stoked about. Stoked to go back to mid controls. I did like the floorboards well enough. They just weren't really my thing. So going back to mids, open primary, that's really a lot of the work they're having to do right now, besides everything else, like fitting all this custom stuff in. I mean, okay, yeah, everything's custom, everything's a lot of work, but definitely making mid controls work with the exhaust that I have and making mid controls work with an open primary is not easy. We'll check back in on this soon, but trust me, the vomit comet is rising. What is dead may never die. Well, we're still in the same day. We're still right before the live stream. I just got done dropping off those parts at the ride factory. It did rain, but it stopped again because you know how the weather goes in Florida. You don't like it, just wait 15 minutes. It'll change. And I think I got enough time to take out Old 92 for its final rip with me as the custodian. And yes, we do have a speedometer now. Don't worry, I did put that on there. So one of the first things you do notice about the Mikuni flat slide versus the CV is it does take a little bit longer to get up to running smoothly from being completely cold. But with the power gains you get from this Mikuni, totally worth it. Also, if you know anything about Evo engines, you really shouldn't be freaking romping on them before they're up to temperature anyway. It's a great way to get base gaskets leaking. Well, it's crazy getting on this thing around riding the Shovelhead FXR because this is pretty much peak FXR. Like, this is as good as they got. I believe that 94, 93, 94 was the last year. And of course, you had the FXR 2, 3, and 4 that came out in the late 2000s as CVO bikes. So, yeah, you'd say those were really the peak, but those were, you know, those were special edition bikes. They weren't regular production like this. This is as good as it got. And let me tell you, yeah, as much as I love that Shovelhead, you jump on Old 92 here, and it is a completely different animal. It feels like a spaceship compared to a horse-drawn wagon. That, and when you're going under 20 miles an hour, the brakes don't just rattle like you're freaking shaking the bike apart. That's crazy on them old Shovelheads. The way that old Harley brakes were set up, literally they just rattle. There's no anti-rattle technology or anything built into them, like no bushings, no nothing. They just sit there. If you're going under 30 miles an hour, they just make a clatter like you're freaking throwing a rod. Wild how easy that transmission goes into neutral. What? When you rebuild a transmission with proper parts, that's what you get. It's one of the cool things about Old 92. This thing is completely documented. Like everything that's gone into the engine, it's got performance heads on it. You know, it had a CV on when we got it, but it was originally built with a Mikuni in mind, which is why we went back to a Mikuni. And not just any Mikuni, now it's a Mikuni that's tuned by Joe's hand, which is something special. Got a couple things left to do to it. You'll see I got two different grips on here because this grip was falling off, and it was the kind of grip that's designed to go inside these things, but it was designed for the newer controls, not the older controls, so it didn't work on this bike. I'm gonna buy grips for the bike. Someone's winning it tonight, so I might as well just wait and see what they actually want on it, and I'll just order them. The same reason why I haven't put an air cleaner on it. Since we have the Mikuni here, we couldn't use the old air cleaner, but I just want to ask the new owner, whoever wins it, I'm gonna be like, hey, what kind of air cleaner do you want to stick on this thing? And I'll order it and I'll put it on. Yeah, I'd say we're warmed up now. We're going to do one final tune on the carb too, since it doesn't have a new owner yet, and we haven't picked out an air cleaner for it yet. We're saving the absolute, like, minute fine tuning of that Mikuni carb until we know what kind of air cleaner is going to be on it. Because sitting here running around with no air cleaner, it's not bad for it. Like, I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the comments who's going to go, you're ruining the bike. I rode a motorcycle across the country without an air cleaner. Like, it's fine, dude. I'm not not saying you should ride a motorcycle across the country with no air cleaner on it, but Joe agrees he doesn't want to completely tune this carburetor to be absolutely perfect with no damn air cleaner on the motorcycle, because then it won't be perfect when you have an air cleaner on it. And Joe and Shelby, they like things to be perfect. Man, this thing freaking rips. Rolling down the road, 75 miles an hour, no problem at all. This was a convertible, which means it's technically a light touring bike, and let me tell you what, man, you could ride it across the country right now. And like I said, I would trust a Shovelhead to ride it across the country too, especially after Joe and Shelby have been through it, but you'd be a lot more comfortable on this one. Ho-ho! Yeah, that nothing is rearing up its head over there real good. Now, I'm talking all this crap about having no air filter on here and how it's not a big deal. It'll start to be a big deal real quick with the rain. So I'm gonna go ahead and tuck my tail between my legs, call this an awesome final rip on Old 92, head back home and start getting ready for the live stream. It handles so much better with 13-inch shocks on the back like that. So much better. I know that everyone always says that a Shovelhead was just like the best sounding Harley motor, but I just gotta disagree, man. I know an Evo shouldn't sound that different because they got the same bottom end, but man, this one just does. If I'm being totally honest, I hate to say it, but it's always been a coin toss for me between a twin cam and an Evo for what has the absolute best sound. Milwaukee 8s are okay. Shovelheads just sound like they're breaking to me. They just, like, when you ride it down the road, they just sound like something's wrong with them already. But I don't know, man. It's just like a constant, like, King Kong versus Godzilla fight for the top dog for the best sounding V-twin exhaust ever between an Evo and a twin cam. And right now I'm on an Evo, so you know, it's winning. If I own this bike, yeah, there's a few things I'd probably do to it, but you ain't got to do much to it now. This thing's pretty much ready to rock and roll. And probably whoever wins it will probably just leave it exactly like this and just ride the damn wheels off it. I'd probably put suspension on it that was set up for my weight, because that's something I always do. And after that, that'd be probably it. Like, I don't think I'd do anything else. But if you weigh like under 200 pounds, like, this suspension on here is going to be just fine. If you're a big boy, like if you're 250, 270, if you're up in that 300 range like I am, you're going to want to put custom suspension, not just on this bike, but on any bike that you ride. Ah, damn, this is a nice ass motorcycle. Oh, the D-cell, baby. That is just where it's at. You want to talk about ASMR motorcycle noises? That is where it's at. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's stop pushing my luck. Well, I mean, I got to get home for the live stream anyway, but yes, let's get home, stop pushing my luck, and say, you know what? I had a great last rip on Old 92.
This is going to be a pretty short video, but that's all right. We're live streaming directly after it. If you guys have been keeping up this far, you already know. We're giving away 2 FXRs. We're pulling both of those tickets tonight on the live stream. By the end of today, by the end of Friday, those 2 bikes will have 2 new owners. But everyone who bought a raffle ticket is still entered to win $250,000 cash, even if you win the bike. Winning any of the motorcycles that we've raffled off doesn't disqualify you for the grand prize at all. And we got plenty more prizes coming too. Huge thanks to Shelby and Brian and Joe and the boys at the Ride Factory, because they made a lot of this possible. These FXRs would not have been able to be fixed up to the level that they're at, to be as good of prizes as they are for you guys out there, if they hadn't donated their time and given us discounts on parts. And they're just amazing, okay? They're amazing people, and I owe them a huge debt of gratitude. Also want to thank you guys, because without y'all buying raffle tickets or sharing these videos or telling people about Forgotten Angels, like, none of this would have happened in the first place. I don't take $1 from this. I take $0. This costs me a lot of money because I buy the parts with my own money. Some of the bikes I've bought with my own money. So, you know what? It costs you guys money too. Everyone out there who's bought a $25 raffle ticket, some of you guys have bought dozens of raffle tickets over the years, and dozens of raffle tickets even during this raffle. So the thanks really goes to y'all, and I would be the biggest hypocrite in the world if I didn't spend my own money on this, because it's for charity. I should spend my own money if I'm going to ask you to spend your own money to also help charity. And that's what it's about. It's about Forgotten Angels. It's about these young men and young women who have of age out of foster care. It's about homelessness, period, and just it's at a crisis point here in America. I think that this has never been more important than it is right now, what Forgotten Angels is trying to do. But all you guys out there who are sharing the videos, buying raffle tickets, and supporting what we do, we all ride for the forgotten, and it feels pretty damn good. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird. And next time should be right now. So see y'all on the live stream.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. Can the world oppose the deadliest of foes? Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Who will risk it all to end the evil call of Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. They never give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shade Tree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.